I'm Matt.
I'm Kerry.
We are the Stagmer brothers of Baltimore Knife and Sword. We're going to be building some of your favorite weapons, and some weapons that you've never seen before.
This is Man-at-Arms, Reforged.
All right, Ilya, since we had such an overwhelming response to our first Overwatch build, figured since it's the 1-year anniversary, the best way to go was with Roadhog's hook. Now, we could just fabricate this, of course, but we know the fans love forging. Since you're our shop's one-man apocalypse, why don't you tell them how you're going to do it?
The way it would be done is I take a piece of round, 2-inch round stock, stretch it out, taper it, cut off the end, offset the back, which will later on become my tag. At that point, I will upset a piece that will become the tag, allowing me for the material for the nub that's at the base.
It'll be awesome. So we selected to forge our hook out of some 1050 steel. This is really tough, good steel. It's perfect for this process. Ilya's first going to move to the hammer and square out the round bar. He then is going to add some taper to it, and then he has to turn the square cross section into a diamond.
To create some of the form on this handle, John goes over to the lathe and sets the carbide cutter directly into the steel, removing the material in his way.
Now that the preform is established, Ilya can move to the anvil to start bending our hook to shape. These have really sharp bends, so later on he's going to have to true everything up with a torch.
At this point, all the major forging is done. As you can see, I moved on to the vise and I'm going to use an oxypropane torch to create the hard bends, which are pretty difficult to do in the forge. The reason for that is the forge heats up a very large area, which does not allow me to localize my power for a hard bend. The torch is a great substitute for this situation.
Now that Ilya has used a torch and crisped up all of our bins, I can move on to do some of the grinding. I've already got a head start. The outside perimeter is all really easy to clean up. The outside bevels are also easy, but the inside's gonna be a little tricky. I'm gonna have to use some different size wheels and different sanders to get this job done. So I'm gonna move back to my 24 grit, continue cleaning up the outside. With the handle parts almost complete, the final step is to make the loop on the back, which the chain will attach to. John made himself a little jig. He's just going to heat it up with a torch and bend the material over to his desired shape.
Matt goes over to the smaller B3 baiter. He's removing the excess material left from the forgings and laying in the facets on the inside of the hook.
To attach the ring that John just made to our handle pieces, John's just going to drill a hole and then slide a pin that attaches all our parts together.
To make sure this handle fits correctly, John's going to be grinding the tang down, both for length and to make it round so it fits inside of the pipe sections.
Although we can do most of the grinding right on a contact wheel for our hook, it's nice to have a slack sander to get in and just smooth everything out. The historical weapon that this hook was based off of is called a man catcher, and you can't have a man catcher without spikes. So first John is going to mill out an area and drill holes for our spikes. He then has to create those spikes. He chose to fabricate them. He's going to be starting from some round rod. He's going to move to the sanders to create his spiky points. Then he's going to just weld on some caps that create the nail head. And then afterwards, Ferenc is going to carve in our lettering on the top of the heads, and then we can attach them.
So we've got the spikes for Roadhog's hook. We're going to take the diamond tool and engrave hog into the top of the spikes. John can go ahead and set them back in, and this weapon will be ready.
With the chain now attached to our hook, the final step is to wrap our handle. John's going to use some distressed leather and just wrap it around. This build is now complete. It's always a little more fun to build a weapon from a game that I play almost daily. Roadhog's hook was quite a challenge. It's really rare to see John and Ilya collaborate on a build. I think they both did a great job. Now with this heavy chain attached, I'm really curious to see how it performs in the demos.
Click here to subscribe, or click here to watch more episodes. Thanks for watching Man-at-Arms Reforged. We need to know what you want the guys to build, so tell us in the comments below what weapons you want to see next.